So we are building up nicely to what will be a nervous freaking Friday. If the Blacl Stars win against Uruguay, it will be 3 points, 6 overall in the tournament, progress into the next round of the competition, the round of 16, officially one of the 16 best football countries. If they draw, that could happen as well. Defeat will mean game over. And I don't know whether it helps or it doesn't help that that game is against Uruguay. Now, you know what happened with Uruguay. I'm not going to bore you too much. In 2010, with the final kick of the game, after a game in which Suleiman Tari had given Ghana the lead, Diego Forlan equalized. Ghana got a penalty in the final minute of the game after Suarez had handled on the line what looked a certain goal. And the rest is history. It's such an iconic moment in Ghana football that, iconic for the wrong reasons, I have to say, but I use iconic to say one of those moments everybody remembers. So when I tweeted a few days ago and asked and said every Ghanaian remembers where they were, what they were doing that day, July 2nd, in 2010 against Uruguay. Now, I remember what I was doing definitely. I was in the Soccer City Stadium. I was watching the game, freaked out about that penalty award, turned my back to the pitch, and the disappointing hush of silence that descended on the stadium told me the penalty had been missed. And I asked for your recollections, and a lot of you remember that day for the wrong reasons. A lot of you talking through your pain of that day, how you couldn't eat, how you were so disappointed. A few standout ones. Omar Akatugba, one of my friends, a journalist in Nigeria, based in Germany, say, I was having sex that night and immediately missed that penalty. I had premature ejaculation as a result. A lot of you remember this from the time you were in secondary school. So Jenny says we were on midterms from St. Peter's. We went downtown to Nkoko to watch the game at St. Michael's Catholic, where my uncle was the parish priest. It was an early night for me. Water even tasted like chloroquine in my mouth. I still got the chills every time. And I see many testimonies like this. Safwa says the wailing from the Gehe Assembly Hall that day could pass for that of a funeral service. The dining hall pans had their contents almost untouched. Girls cried and kasa. And I think that's what it is. Everybody remembers. So imagine the players unit. As Asamoah has spoken about the nightmares he has from that game. I spoke to former Ghana captain Stephen Appiah, who was a member of that team. Here's what he told me about his recollections from that day.
Nobody was talking because of the situation. We had a chance to make history, to play in the semi-finals, and that thing happened. We were not happy. We were not happy, and some of us is going to haunt us to the rest of our lives.
So given how strongly we all feel about the Uruguay game, it's natural that a lot of you have tagged this a game of revenge. A lot of you want things sorted out properly. Luis Suarez himself has had this to say. He said they know how to beat Ghana. They've beaten Ghana before. They will do it again. Most of you have jumped on that and told him your peace of mind. A lot of you want revenge as well. I don't think this will be a revenge game. And Ghana coach Otuado, who watched that game in sadness, he says, is the man who must focus the Blacl Stars on what's most important on the day. He says, as far as he's concerned, this is by no extension a revenge game at all. He simply wants his team to go out and be cognizant of what they need to do in order to progress through to the next stage of the competition.
We want to win this game. I'm not too much thinking about revenge. For me, it's a normal game. Surely, I also was really sad 2010 when I watched the scene 12 years ago, and now it's a different match, a different approach also. So I don't see it. For me, it's not a revenge, and I'm not a person who's seeking for revenge.
And I have to be honest with you, I'm delighted that Otuado is thinking along those lines, because I think in order for Ghana to win, Ghana needs to unlock itself from this burden of 12 years ago. Look, it was 12 years ago, only one surviving member of that team in the side. Uruguay got through to the next stage of the competition. Suarez did what he had to do for his country. We didn't get the luck. We had the opportunity from the penalty spot. We didn't take it. We've got to move on. And this is another opportunity for us to enhance our journey in the World Cup, to go through for the third time into the knockout stages in 4 World Cup appearances. That will be a phenomenal record. My suggestion is that there are bigger things at stake rather than revenge against Uruguay. And I think in order to win, one of the first job of the technical team, Otuado included, is to convince the players that this is just another football game. It will be hard. Given everything that's been said on social media and all, that will be very difficult. But if they go out on the pitch and play football, this is a winnable game. If they go out on the pitch and focus on what's at stake and focus on potentially 1 point and focus on potentially 3 points, and I really am interested in Ghana just deciding that that's the most important thing for the day. So that is the first thing that Ghana needs to do, to keep an eye on what's the big picture. The big picture is not revenge against Uruguay. The big picture is progress into the next round of the competition. Now, in order to progress, of course, as I've been mentioning, draw Kudus in. There's been a lot of hype around him. So a mural unveiled in Nima for him and all that. In the midst of all that, it's very easy for everybody to lose track of the most important thing, which is the football at stake. And as far as the football is concerned, I love that Kudus was made to play a bit more up front. I love that he was used more in an attacking threat. We need to do that against Uruguay. The Uruguayans will come in very hard. They will tackle. They will unruffle us. They know that we'll be pumped up emotionally, so they will try to get us worked up as much as possible. And I hope that we can, in the important moments, in the moments when there is space, unleash Kudus on the ball and let him run, let him do as much damage as possible. We've seen all the question marks over our star man, Inaki Williams. He's not proving to be a star man in terms of goals and everything, but I hope that we stick to him. He's one man whose pace could be problematic for a backline of Uruguay that's aged too much, that struggles. And Inaki's pace, his ability to run down the channels, his ability to occupy defenders could be what we need to trouble that aging Uruguay backline. So whilst Inaki may not have scored goals so far, I think there's been enough work ethic so far for him to be a member who starts. I've had a lot of conversations about Thomas Partey. I'm beginning to get tired of it. But I hope once again that this is the day Thomas Partey becomes more than just the guy who plays the square pass, who sits deep, who does the basics. As far as the World Cup is concerned, Ghanaians want a bit more of that. So whilst the statistics says great tournament so far, people want to see a bit more. I want to see a bit more. The fans want to see a bit more. The fans want to see a bit more authority. The fans want to see a bit more engagement from a man who has the talent, the quality, the presence to carry Ghana. And I hope we see a lot more of that in that particular game. It will not be easy. It will be very difficult. It will require a lot of nerves. And after swing of the final group game so far, nothing will be settled until the 90 minutes. So absolute concentration is what will be required. But on a man-to-man level, this Uruguay team is there for the taking. And I desperately, desperately hope that the Blacl Stars will focus on that. The Blacl Stars will focus on the threat of Darwin Núñez, that the Blacl Stars will focus on an ability to nullify the really good Rodrigo Betancourt, the Tottenham midfielder in the middle of the park, put Salis on him, let him do a decent job on him and all that. That the Blacl Stars would understand, as the players themselves have been saying, that this whole tournament is such a big deal that they want to go through and not let the euphoria and the emotional heaviness of this game weigh down on them too much. Good luck to the Blacl Stars. We're all here for the win.